So I'm just going to get into your introduction here. So for everyone who doesn't know, this is Jordan Figueira. He played on the Pakmen. He played on Pakmen for what, 14U to 18U it was?
Technically 14U to 18U in terms of tournaments, but I was on the team in 13U for half the season.
Okay, cool. And so Jordan plays now on the University of Toronto Varsity Blues. Some little bit of Jordan's resume. So from 16U to 14U, Jordan won provincials and nationals. I believe on your 14U year, you also won the Award of Excellence, correct?
Yeah.
And then we'll get to your 17U season after because I want to talk about that a little bit more in detail. But Jordan's 18U year, he won provincials with his team. They were able to get silver at nationals, and he was also the winner of the Ken Davies Award. So I think the first thing I kind of want to get into is your 17U season.
Okay.
Your 17U season, so you got OVA All-Star that year. You played on the 18U provincial team that summer.
Yeah.
And then you guys also won 17U and 18U provincials, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah.
So, like, I don't know, maybe talk me through that, right? You don't really see a lot of younger teams winning provincials, or you don't see younger teams winning provincials, right? When they're playing up. So, like, kind of maybe if you want to give me like that, like how that kind of happened.
Yeah, for sure. So basically because I watched actually Sharon's interview last week, and basically since 13U, like our core group was together all the way through till 17U, 18U. So in that 17U season, like we were just a team with so much confidence. Like we thought we could beat any team out there. It doesn't matter if they're 2 years older than us, 1 year, didn't matter. Like university teams, like we just like, you could say it was cocky, but it was just confidence in my mind.
Right.
And so we would always play Europe provincials in older tournaments, as I'm sure your team did. Most Pakmen teams do.
For sure.
And we were actually doing pretty well, making it to like quarters, semis. And so you're building that confidence and actually believing that you can beat these older teams that you look up to. And so going into that finals, we were playing the Pakmen 18U team. So there's a little bit of rivalry, I guess. And like, we know the guys, right? So we had practiced with them a couple times. So they're buddies with us, but at the same time, it's like, we're going in with the attitude, we have nothing to lose. They're coming in with like we better freaking win this, right?
Yeah.
And so, essentially like just went out, played free, which I think is huge in any game of volleyball, even with university right now. Like that's a big talking point, just playing free. And we were able to play free because we were younger, and we got it done. It was pretty shocking and pretty crazy, and something that I still kind of, because one of my teammates for the past few years, Andrew Cost, played on the 18U team. So every once in a while I'd take jabs at him, and then he'd talk about losing in nationals and all that. So
for sure.
but it was shocking at the time. But looking back, that's something that I take, and I'm sure everyone else on that team took great pride in, because it was something that like just wasn't really heard of. And just through our confidence, like at the same time, we had like guys like Sharon who were like, I don't know, basically unstoppable. So we had a pretty good team as well.
For sure.
But we managed to get it done, which was amazing.
And so I think one thing a lot of people don't know, I think you guys also won 17U and 18U Grand Prix that year as well, right?
It's a little bit ago, but I believe so. Yeah. Cause
so like just looking at that, like that's impressive, obviously, because not only people can't really say that you guys won 18U provincials kind of just because you guys had a good day. But you guys also won the biggest tournament before that as well, right? So I think
like I said, like that's like throughout that whole year, and even years before, like we'd win a few games, make it to the quarters, semis, like you said, win the Grand Prix. The Grand Prix wasn't as big back then as I think it is now. I think there's like a big trophy and stuff, which is unreal. But it was still like a big tournament. That was kind of like, there were all the like smaller tournaments, and then there's the Grand Prix. So for sure, like just going out and winning and like competing with some of these better teams like Pakmen, for example. So we're just like building that confidence, and we're able to pull through when it mattered.
Right. Okay. Yeah, no, that's because, again, like even now, like with my team playing up when we were younger as well, right? It's
Hmm.
just you don't realize how big of a difference it is, even just physically, right? When you're playing against
Oh yeah.
older guys, right? Physically, it's a big difference. So I think that's what makes it even more impressive, right? That you guys
Yeah.
were able to pull those off your last two tournaments.
Yeah, like in university, you're playing against guys older, younger than you. It matters, but not overly. It's more so experience. At that point, everyone's as physical as they're gonna get. But when you're, I guess 17, 18, you're closer. But like if you're like 16, you playing 17, you or something like that, like you grow a lot in that year. Like I remember Sharon back in 13U, he was this like skinny, like he wasn't crazy tall, and
Right.
then you just see him progress over the years, and it's insane. So
It's,
yeah, that
yeah,
age gap is a lot different in
for
club.
sure. So I think just because obviously you explained to me that you had started playing, that you played hockey at first.
Yeah.
So maybe if you want to maybe give a little background as to how you started playing.
Yeah, so I'd always liked like my two sports were always volleyball and hockey, mainly hockey. I played hockey since I could walk, both me and my brother. So hockey was something that I was always committed to. I played at a decently high level, double A. So I was like, at the point where I was like, oh, I'm good at this sport, but like I'm not like triple A, like unreal, gonna go places with it, right?
Right.
And I was at a Pakmen volleyball camp. I'm not sure which one, but Kelly, I guess, noticed me, talked to my dad, told him to reach out to Ed Turlinski, who was the 13U coach at the time.
Yeah.
And it was halfway through the season, and so my dad talked to him. He said, for sure, like come out and practice. I practiced. He liked me, so I was on the team that year while still playing hockey, but I didn't go to any tournaments. I was just because of hockey, I was too committed. And then in 14U season, I was gonna try to do the same thing, balance hockey and volleyball, but actually commit to volleyball as well as hockey. But I didn't make like there were a few teams I was kind of gunning for in hockey that would have kept me in it,
Mm-hmm.
but I didn't make those teams, which was like a surprise for me. But at the end of the day, I think it was for the best because I was nearing the end of that, like the love of the sport. And so I made Pac-Man and I just was like, okay, I'm quitting hockey. And I was already on a team actually. And so I'm sure I wasn't very well liked
Yeah.
within that team after quitting. But yeah, I committed myself to volleyball. And I think that it was definitely for the best in the long run because now I'm playing a sport that I'm still succeeding at, and I actually like truly love the sport and commit myself to practicing and really like that aspect of it. Whereas hockey was, you like playing the games, but the practice are just kind of like, ugh, like do we
Right.
have
Yeah.
to,
You're kind of
right?
just there for
Yeah,
sure.
I was just done with it. So
So I think one thing a lot of people don't know is so from your original 13U team, I think you guys had quite a few guys, right, that ended up sticking with the team for 18U.
yeah, so we had myself, Sharon, Parvier. I don't want to miss anyone, but I think like that was a good chunk. There was definitely one or two others. Andrew
Mm-hmm.
Smondelac, my good buddy, he goes to Waterloo.
Yep.
Big 6'7" lefty or however tall he is. But yeah, we had a bunch of guys like kind of go that whole ride, which is why I think we had so much success because we had that chemistry. In
For sure.
18U, we obviously got a few major pieces in Tariq, Jordan Pereira. Um, but throughout the majority of it, we were together, and it was very much a brotherhood, especially when you're winning a lot. Like if you're losing a lot, there's gonna be tensions. But if you're winning a lot, you're gonna like the guys around you, and
For
it's
sure.
gonna be a
Yeah.
lot easier vibe, so to say. So yeah, it was pretty crazy that we all kind of went through it together.
Yeah, it's just interesting because when you look at a bunch of different teams, right, you really only see maybe like two or three guys, right, that have
Yeah,
actually played from 13U through 18U. Like I
yeah,
think my team this past year, we had three.
yeah. Davis was one of them, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
Davis, and
yeah.
then, one of our right sides, Harjess, as well.
Okay.
So like, but and then there was one that was technically on the team at 13U, but he had actually then he got cut then 15 and then came back. So
Yeah,
if we're talking like full on like 13 to 18, it's three, which is like you don't realize how impressive it is to have like five or six, right?
yeah. That's 6 years of being together. Like that's a lot.
Yeah, for
It's
sure.
significant.
No, and it definitely adds up. Like, I think it's funny because even playing with Davis, right? And I'm sure you can speak to this as well. Like, playing with Davis, like, you got to know him and know what his kind of personality and style was on the
Yeah.
court. So you kind of like you kind of know different ways to motivate your teammates and stuff like that, right?
Exactly.
And I
Volleyball is
think
a major mental sport, so it's definitely huge.
yeah, and it definitely comes a long way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So then I guess so you were talking about how you had Ed as your coach as your
Yeah.
first season, right? And then I believe your 17U, 18U years you had Oris,
Oris.
correct?
Yeah.
So like what was your experience like, would you say, in terms of coaching and stuff?
So I initially started with Ed from 13U to 16U. And my picture of him was he was a very tough coach. He demanded a lot out of us, which at times was kind of like frustrating. But at the end of the day, we were so successful for a reason because we weren't half at or going half the way. I don't want to swear on this, but
Yeah.
going half at practice. We were fully we were demanded a certain level of excellence, which
Yeah.
ultimately won us 3 national championships. I think it was 3, right?
Yeah, it was
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Three national championships, which is huge. And then once we got into 17 with Oris, it was more so we were at an age where we were together for all those years. So we were already committed to this excellence. So it was more so just fine tuning different skills, which I think benefited me greatly for the university level.
Yeah.
And another coach that I feel like was significant for me was Jeff Chung with the setter schools. I went since I was 13U to 18U. I remember being in, I think it was like 15 or something like that. And he allowed me to train with the older group for like a couple practices. And that was like, wow, like these are guys I look up to. So he was amazing throughout my whole career. And I definitely wouldn't be the player I am right now without him.
I guess then getting onto that point with Jeff, right? I'm sure like all the Pakmen athletes that are libs and setters obviously know Jeff, right? And have a lot of respect for Jeff because he's a phenomenal coach. So given that Jeff is a U of T alumni, right?
Yeah.
How does that feel? Like obviously, because I think like I'm sure like you have a lot of respect for Jeff, right?
Yeah.
So how does it feel to kind of like be like a setter all as well, right? That's playing for U of T now.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure the years that he played at U of T. I know he was very successful when he was at U of T. But yeah, it's something that honestly I feel pushes me on a day-to-day basis because I'm someone who like whatever I'm going to do, I want to be the best at it. So in terms of setting, I'm like I want to like be able to be this setter at U of T that came and like did really well, blah blah blah, and I'm essentially like among other setters that have played throughout the years, like Jeff is that guy at the top of the ladder. So it's someone that I like, even though I didn't necessarily see him play, like obviously he was my coach, but I didn't see him play in his prime. But it's someone that's like kind of always in the back of my mind, like what, not really, but what would Jeff be doing, or like how did he get to his certain level? So
right.
He's someone that, as much as I don't know much about his career at U of T, I'm very aware of the fact that he went to U of T and was very successful at it. So it's something that continuously pushes me.
For sure. So going back to kind of the club scene, what would you say was like your favorite memory, right? Obviously playing from 14 to 18, there's a lot of like, I'm sure positive memories, right? Especially given that you guys won a lot, right? But
yeah,
if you had to pick maybe one specific thing, would there be kind of something that sticks out?
Yeah. So I watched the Sharon interview. I know he mentioned the 17U winning 18U provincials, but I think the best memory that I had was winning 16U nationals.
Okay.
Just because winning nationals is just it's different than provincials. It's different than any of that because at that point, it's just we had won a lot of provincials in the past, and so it was, as much as it was playing year up and it's still amazing, an amazing feeling, but winning nationals is just, it feels different. It's like when you hear NHL players saying win the Stanley Cup, like you have that bond with those guys, and it's a truly special feeling. That's what it's almost like you know that those are gonna be your brothers until eternity. Like you won a major championship with them. So winning nationals in 16U was definitely the best memory for me. I wish I could have gotten that in 17 and 18U, but
yeah,
can't live in the past.
So I guess kind of looking at that 18U year, right? Because obviously you brought up that like obviously you guys wish you guys kind of finished the job. I think going into your 18U year, right? Obviously, like with getting like two big additions, right, with JP and Tariq, right? I think it's like it automatically made you guys, right? I think a favorite to kind of win national
Yeah.
finals. So like obviously you guys had like I think, and then given the fact that obviously you were already on the team, Tom Sora was the other setter, right? Sharon was on the team. Like you guys had a lot of like good players. So
Yeah.
like, what was it kind of like playing with those guys?
Oh, it was amazing. The practices were awesome. I remember I was in a lot of practice. I was Jordan Pereira's pepper partner, so
Right.
just getting to play with him and his level of ball control and his level of like focus when he does certain tasks pushed me, and just that whole team culture that we had within that team um, was very much towards excellence, and because you have all these amazing players,
For sure.
like future national team players, all that, future professional players. And so, yeah, it was just the practices were amazing. Of course, the games are great as well, but I feel like the biggest takeaway was the practices and just the level of play we were able to get up to in those practices.
Right.
Because there was no lopsided, like if we were scrimmaging, no lopsided teams. Everyone was like, it was all pretty equal. So it was, yeah, it was amazing.
Yeah, no, that would be pretty cool. I think we got a little bit of a taste of that. Obviously, our season got cut short a little bit, but we
Yeah.
were definitely able to have that a little bit too towards the end of the year, right? And that was like it was definitely a good experience.
Yeah.
So I think obviously you guys had a like phenomenal season this year at U of T, right?
Yeah.
And obviously, of course, you guys wanted to win provincials, of course, and
Yeah.
obviously you guys got cut short at nationals, but. Like, what was it like, kind of this past season, having that sort of success?
Yeah. So it was similar to the year before, in which my first 2 years at U of T, we didn't make the playoffs either year. We were kind of bottom tier team, and it wasn't that enjoyable of an experience in all honesty. It just sucks losing. And so going into my third year, we got a couple like key pieces in Chris Tao and Evan Filardo. Chris Tao actually Pakmen alumni, and
Yep.
so yeah, it was just from then on, it was kind of a change dynamic, and we were winning more. And then in my 18U season, we had pretty much the exact same team, same guys on the court, except for a couple additions, a couple first year additions that contributed significantly. And just we were able to. It was the first season that I actually felt like we wanted to win, and like we had that belief that we could win. That was a major point, and it showed on the court. I think we lost once in the regular season, and then
17-1,
yeah, and then playing Queens in the finals, we went up 2-0. We're feeling real good. But all season we were a team that we wouldn't win in 3 sets. We were a 4-set, 5-set team.
Right.
For whatever reason, we wanted to make it difficult on ourselves, I guess. But yeah, so we you could say we choked in the finals, but in all honesty, Queen stepped up after those 2 sets. They started serving a lot tougher, and we just didn't step up to the plate. So it's not something I necessarily dwell on because I still have another year. There's still room to get better. But yeah, it definitely would have been something we want to win. But the season was great overall. Like tons of laughs, lots of good quality time spending with the guys. So that it was a great experience.
And so, given that obviously Dave is obviously your assistant coach, right, at U of T, and I think a lot of people know, right, he's been coaching Pakmen for a while now. What would you say his coaching style is like? I find that interesting. I think from athlete to athlete, it kind of varies, right? Because I think there's some athletes he has a really good bond with, right, and he's able to kind of have like be a little bit tougher, right? And then there's some where maybe not necessarily that he's passive, but he's maybe a little bit more understanding of, right?
Yeah.
So what was that? Like, how's your experience with Dave been?
Dave, when he comes to games, he really honestly doesn't say much, but when he does, like he picks his moments to say stuff. A lot of the time, it's there's either 2 sides. It's either really serious or trying to get a laugh. Like like there's either the joking side of Dave or the serious side. You never really know what you're gonna get.
Right.
But yeah, no, he he's a good laugh around the locker room. Like the guys, like every single time he says something, it's just like
It's
just crack.
hilarious.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it cracks you
he's
up,
got
right?
good jokes for sure.
Yeah. So he, although he's not around a crazy amount, because I know he's helping out with Pakmen and he was still teaching at the time.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure how it'll work next year with his involvement. But yeah, no, whenever he comes around, it's always a good laugh. So he's
For sure.
definitely a good lightning force.
Yeah, no, we've definitely had some good laughs with him this year as well.
Mm-hmm.
He's like the one thing I like about Dave is he's very upfront with what he thinks too.
Oh,
Like
he's so blunt.
He's not gonna hide anything he says, right?
No.
I think that's the one thing I really like about him, right? Is like if he's feeling something, he's gonna tell you how he's feeling. So I think that's one thing I really appreciate, and I also like how he loves to win.
Yeah.
Right. He loves to win and he hates to lose, which I think that comes a long way as well, right? That's helped our team. I'm sure it's helped your team as well.
Yeah, it's the same with John. It's just everyone hates losing, and it's never a pretty sight in the locker room when we do lose. But this year we didn't really have much of that, so that was a good change of pace.
For sure. So I was told you did a little bit of beach. I guess that's one thing a lot of people don't know, right? You played a little bit of beach with, I think it was Andrew, correct?
Yeah.
So, how was beach training then? Because I guess that would have been a great environment too, right? Given the guys you guys would have been competing against, even just at beach training.
Yeah, in all honesty, I didn't play much. I didn't play much beach. I think me and Andrew, we joined forces to play in I think it was the 17U Pan Am, like junior Pan Am, something like that.
Right.
That that was the one Sharon and Parveer went to.
Yeah.
And they won that little tournament. But I thought we did better than I was expecting, because we practiced maybe like 5 or 6 times, like with Sharon and Parveer with Jesse.
For sure.
And then just kind of went out and had fun with it. But yeah, no, I didn't play much beach growing up. I like to take the summers to like kind of relax from volleyball and just not really think about it too much, and then just adds excitement going into the new year. But that tournament was over the Christmas break, so we took a stab at it. I think we came fourth out of 6 or 8 teams or something like that. So not great, not terrible though. We didn't lose every game, so that's we lost to Tariq and Jordan, so I don't know what you can do about that.
Yeah, no,
they're really great.
A lot of success.
Mm-hmm.
So just in talking to a lot of kind of coaches throughout the club, so like I spoke to Jesse, I spoke to Kelly, I spoke to Reed as well, right? Because I know you used to train there with Reed at the Matrix.
Oh yes, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, and so one common thing I got a lot of is that you're a hardworking athlete, right? And I think obviously. It's easier said than done to say that you're a hardworking athlete, right? But to get that compliment from other people, I think means a lot more. What would you say kind of helps you kind of push yourself to kind of be hardworking per se?
What pushes me? A lot of things motivate me to kind of keep it up. Like I've said before, I have this expectation for myself that whatever I'm gonna like, even like for example, even golf, like I'm just kind of like it's something I want to play a lot this summer, so I'm like trying to play catch up with my buddies, because I've never played golf before, so going to the driving range a lot and just like kind of like working on the swing, which sounds really over the top, but it just if I'm gonna commit myself to something, I'm not gonna do it halfway. I'm not gonna go halfway. I'm gonna go all the way in, and especially being a shorter setter, there's so much competition in sport. It's ridiculous. Like Davis coming in this year, he's a great setter. So it's something that just continuously pushes me. I try to find new ways every once in a while to keep the motivation up, even if that's watching like a corny like motivational video on like, just a few words. It's like, okay, yeah, like let's go.
Right.
But yeah, it's like I said, whatever I commit myself to doing, and I'm not gonna just do it halfway. Like even right now in quarantine, stuck in this house, we have a pretty good gym here, so been working out every day, and now I'm starting to like want to work on like some volleyball stuff. So been doing more like focused work just in my garage against the wall, kind of working on some new things. So
Right.
yeah, it's just anything I do, I don't want to do it halfway. So that's kind of the main motivation. And then there's the ups and downs where I'm like, "Ugh, I really don't want to do this," and then you got to find something else to motivate you. So
For sure.
yeah.
So I guess I'm kind of sticking out of the mind, kind of like your mindset and stuff. So I came to watch you guys play Brock in the quarterfinals.
Yeah, that was you signed that day, right? That was
No. I signed at their home opener.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
But then I came to watch your quarters.
Okay.
And
Oh,
so
the quarters. Okay. Yeah.
yeah, and so one thing I noticed a lot was I kind of took a look at your digs per set stats, right? And I'm a numbers person. I find like numbers back up everything, right? Like at the end of the day, if you've got numbers to prove for what you've done, I think that means a lot. So during the regular season, you were averaging 1.95 digs, which I believe was fourth in the OUA. And then going into the playoffs, you had 2.3 digs per set. So obviously we see that there's an increase right in the playoffs. Like what's kind of like your mindset playing defense, right?
Yeah. Sorry, I'm just laughing at Sharon's comments.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so it's something that I have to continuously work on because John and Dave and all the coaching staff at U of T continues to tell me like don't leave early on defense, which I tend to do a lot. You could say I'm proactive in that. I like to kind of get a jump start, but it's something that I've had to work on throughout my university career. But I kind of consider myself almost as like a second libero out there, like just from based off of what I think my teammates expect out of me.
For sure.
Because I've had those defensive numbers throughout the years. I've just kind of committed myself to being a good defender and wanting to be a good defender. I like defense. I find it really fun because I'm not the one that's bouncing balls or, like a dumps, whatever, but I feel like a good quality dig, it definitely feels a lot nicer. So it's something that kind of, because you're not going to get complimented, oh, nice set, or like not really. So it's something I'm like, oh, like this is something I like, I can get my little showmanship off, right? So yeah, it's just something that I like to commit myself to. And also I think a lot of guys just hit it near me or maybe give me free balls to get me out of the play. There's a lot of that too that kind of boosts the stats a little bit. But yeah, I'm definitely I like defense, and that's what I think motivates me. If you like something, you're obviously going to be better at it and be more committed to it. So I like defense and I like setting. So that's
it's
here
also
I am.
interesting because obviously that's something Jeff believes in as well, right? Is that that setters need to be just as good defensively as libs do, right? So I think it's important, right? And I think that's come from Jeff a little bit as well, right?
Yeah. It's just ever since 13U even like with Ed Terlinsky, he was big on defense and big on like that grit and like getting low, diving. I'm not sure if it was Ed or Oris. So like sometimes there'd be a punishment where we'd have to do a bunch of dives. So like you kind of enhance that over the years, and just your area. This is what John says. Your area of I forget the words, but your area of intervention where you can play a ball kind of increases the more you practice.
Yeah,
right?
the more you practice.
Exactly. So
we had John come into a practice this year as well, so he was big on that for sure.
Yeah, he loves defense.
Yeah. So I think obviously we talked earlier about that. Obviously, you guys want to win. Obviously, the OUA championship, and obviously nationals is a goal for you guys, I'm sure, right? Especially given that you guys are going to have a good team next year as well.
Yep.
What would you say are some other kind of future goals within the sport? Like, obviously, I think everyone knows. I think provincials, nationals is one, but is there any goals maybe beyond that?
Yeah, like I've kind of gotten to the point just in what I'm doing in school, what I'm learning in school, that I'm pretty motivated to kind of enter the workforce. I have a job, an internship starting on Monday for the summer, so we'll see how that goes. See how much I like that. But I'm pretty pretty motivated to want to get into what I've been learning in school. So I don't
see everyone in the chat.
So I don't know. I guess time will tell. Things change. Like for COVID-19, you never know. what will happen. But at this point, kind of the motivation for me right now to keep playing is wanting to win an OUA championship. I'm 99% positive we'll have a season next year. So
yeah,
win
just
an
not
OUA
sure when
champion.
it'll start, but
Yeah, but win an OUA championship, make it a national, see what happens, and yeah, after that I don't know. But right now I'm kind of liking what I'm learning in school and what I've been doing. So the mindset's kind of shifted because coming to university, I'm playing professional volleyball. Like that's the only reason why I'm in school is I want to play professional, right? But people change over time and mindsets change. So yeah, we'll see.
And what program are you in at U of T?
Commerce. So I'm specializing in marketing and strategy.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah.
Okay, cool. So I guess the last little bit, and I think it's important, right? Because I think one thing a lot of people don't know is obviously that the club has a lot of successful alumni.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing for me is maybe what's some advice maybe you can kind of end things off with giving to like a younger athlete.
Oh, I would say keep it fun because that's a major point. Like obviously, you're gonna want to be really intense and in game, and you're gonna want to practice hard and all that. But if it's not fun, it's like hockey with me, right? It stopped being fun, the practices, and ultimately that's how you get better, and that's how you kind of grow in the sport.
For sure.
So if you can keep it fun, and this comes down to coaching, your teammates, just the whole environment. Keep it fun, keep it light. Obviously, when the work needs to get done, get it done. But keeping it fun and enjoyable is a major point. And also just believe in yourself because that's something that I've in my first 2 years at U of T where it was tough to get through because we didn't have belief that we could like win any games or like we'd go into games kind of like dang like these guys are good.
Yeah.
But over time and this belief comes through work and working out and doing the right things. And so if you believe in yourself, ultimately anything's possible, I think. So that's just what I believe. Yeah, keep it fun and really believe in your talents and who you are as an athlete or as a person or whatever.
No, that's awesome. Well, thank you for coming on. This is
No,
great.
thank you. Thank you.
I'm looking forward to, I guess, playing against you next year. That'll be cool.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
So yeah, we'll talk later.
Yeah, for sure, man. See you next year. Peace.
All right, everyone. We'll be back next week. We will be announcing who's on next week on Monday. Thanks.